Right, let's get one thing straight. When you think of 1950s motorsport, you probably picture big burly Ferraris or lumbering Jaguars. They were the titans of the track, massive engines, lots of noise, and a certain aristocratic swagger. Then, out of Stuttgart, came this little pest. The Porsche 550 Spyder. It landed in 1953, looking like it had been sculpted from a single, beautiful piece of silver. It was small, it was light, and frankly, it looked like it might get blown away by a stiff breeze. But looks, as we all know, can be deceiving. This wasn't just another pretty face, it was a statement of intent from a company that was about to teach the world a few things about engineering. Porsche wasn't a household name back then, not like it is today. They were the underdogs, the plucky upstarts, and the 550 was their slingshot. The mission was simple: build a car that could win races, not by brute force but by being clever. The philosophy was less is more, long before it became a trendy marketing slogan. Less weight meant you didn't need a monstrous engine. It meant you could corner faster and brake later. The 550 was designed from the ground up to be a pure, no-nonsense racing machine that you could, if you were brave enough, also drive on public roads. It was a giant killer in the making, ready to nip at the heels of the established champions. Think about the context of the era. The post-war world was buzzing with new energy and a thirst for speed. Races like the Mille Miglia and the Targa Florio weren't held on sanitized modern circuits. They were epic, dangerous blasts across thousands of miles of public roads, past villages, farms, and cheering crowds. You needed a car that was not only fast but also nimble and reliable enough to survive the ordeal. This was the brutal arena the 550 was born into. It wasn't built to cruise down a boulevard, it was built to be thrashed, to be pushed to its absolute limit on some of the most challenging roads in the world, and to come out the other side victorious. This little Porsche immediately started punching well above its weight. It took on bigger, more powerful cars, and to the astonishment of many, it started winning. Class victories at Le Mans, a legendary overall win at the 1956 Targa Florio, the 550 proved that clever engineering could triumph over raw power. It was a proper David versus Goliath story, played out on the tarmac of Europe's greatest racetracks. It cemented Porsche's reputation as a builder of serious performance cars. The 550 wasn't just a car, it was the genesis of a legend, the opening chapter in a story of motorsport dominance that continues to this very day. It was and is absolutely brilliant. So, what made the 550 so special? Let's get a bit nerdy. Pop the rear clamshell and you won't find a massive V8 or a silky smooth straight six. Instead, you'll find a masterpiece of mechanical engineering, the Type 547 engine. This was a flat-4 air-cooled motor, but it was no ordinary Beetle engine. It was a complex quad-cam screamer designed by a genius named Ernst Fuhrmann. It was nicknamed the Fuhrmann engine, and it was a proper racing unit. It was intricate, noisy, and potent, squeezing around 110 horsepower out of just 1.5 liters. That might not sound like much today, but remember the car's secret weapon, its weight. The 550 was feather light. We're talking around 550 kilograms, or about 1,200 pounds. That's less than half the weight of a modern Porsche Boxster. This incredible lightness was achieved through its design. It used a steel tube space frame chassis which was strong but weighed next to nothing. The body was hand-formed from aluminium, a sleek, low-slung shape with no room for anything unnecessary. There was no roof, no proper windows, no radio, no air conditioning. The interior consisted of 2 bucket seats, a big steering wheel, a few essential gauges, and a gear stick. That's it. It was minimalism in its purest, most beautiful form. Every single component had to justify its existence. Driving one is a raw, unfiltered experience. The driver sits low, almost on the floor with the wind rushing past their head. You feel every bump in the road directly through the seat of your pants. The steering is completely unassisted, so you have a direct, physical connection to the front wheels. The engine, sitting right behind you, buzzes, whirs, and barks with every input from your right foot. There are no electronic nannies, no traction control, no ABS. It's just you, the machine, and the road. It demands your full attention. It's a car that you don't just drive, you have a conversation with it. It's a proper handful, but get it right, and the reward is pure, unadulterated driving joy. Compared to a modern sports car, it feels like a different species entirely. A new 911 is a technological marvel. It's faster, safer, and infinitely more comfortable. You can drive it across a continent while listening to a podcast. The 550 would have none of that. It's loud, it's cramped, and it will try to bite you if you disrespect it. But that's precisely the point. It offers a level of connection and mechanical feedback that has been almost completely engineered out of modern cars. It's a sensory overload in the best possible way. It reminds you that driving used to be an adventure, a skill, and sometimes a little bit dangerous. The 550's influence is massive. You can draw a direct line from its lightweight, mid-engine layout to some of the greatest sports cars ever made. Porsche themselves continued the theme with cars like the 904 and the Boxster, which owes its entire existence to the 550's mid-engine concept. The idea of placing the engine in the middle for perfect balance wasn't new, but the 550 perfected it in a small, accessible package. It demonstrated that this layout was the key to unlocking incredible agility and handling. It set a template that countless other manufacturers would follow for decades to come, proving that a small car with a small engine could be a world beater. Look at the shape of it, that low, wide stance, the simple, flowing curves, the unmistakable Porsche DNA. It's timeless. Even today it looks purposeful and stunningly beautiful. Its design has been imitated and celebrated for over 70 years. The car became an instant icon, not just for its performance but for its aesthetic purity. It represented a new kind of cool, a sleek, functional modernism that stood in stark contrast to the chrome-laden behemoths of its time. This aesthetic legacy is just as important as its engineering one. The 550 Spyder is one of those rare cars that looks just as good standing still as it does at speed, a piece of rolling sculpture. Naturally, this has made the 550 one of the most sought-after collector cars on the planet. Only around 90 were ever built, and with their storied racing history, each one is a priceless artifact. When they do come up for auction, they command eye-watering prices, easily fetching millions of pounds. They are the crown jewels of any serious car collection. For collectors, owning a 550 is about more than just having a rare car. It's about owning a pivotal piece of automotive history. It represents the moment Porsche announced itself on the world stage. It's a tangible link to the golden age of motorsport and the legends who drove these machines. This rarity and value have also spawned a thriving industry of replicas. For most of us, owning a real 550 is pure fantasy, but a well-made replica can offer a taste of the experience for a fraction of the cost. These aren't just kit cars, many are meticulously crafted tributes that capture the spirit and feel of the original. This shows just how deep the love for the 550 runs. People don't just want to look at it in a museum, they want to experience what it feels like to sit in that low-slung cockpit and hear that flat-4 engine roaring behind them. The desire to connect with this icon is as strong today as it ever was. Of course, you can't talk about the 550 Spyder without mentioning James Dean. The story is a tragic but inseparable part of the car's mythology. The young Hollywood star was a budding racing driver and fell in love with the 550's performance and style. He bought one, nicknamed it Little Bastard, and was tragically killed in a road accident while driving it to a race in 1955. This event cemented the car in popular culture forever, intertwining its image with Dean's live, fast, die young, rebellious spirit. It added a layer of mystique and danger to the 550's already formidable reputation, making it a symbol of both brilliance and tragedy. But the car is so much more than just a footnote in a Hollywood story. I once had the immense privilege of being near one that was being started up. The sound is something you never forget. It's not a smooth, refined hum, it's a clattery, mechanical symphony. You can hear every moving part working, a busy, purposeful noise that builds into a sharp, angry bark as the revs climb. It smells of oil and petrol. It feels alive, almost like a living, breathing creature. In that moment, you understand completely why people fall in love with these things. It's a visceral, emotional connection that a spec sheet can never convey. It's pure mechanical charisma. As we sit here in 2025, surrounded by electric hypercars that can hit 60 miles per hour in under 2 seconds with silent, effortless efficiency, the 550 Spyder feels more important than ever. It's a reminder of what driving is all about. It's about engagement, skill, and the joy of mastering a machine. It's about the sensations, the noise, the vibration, the feeling of the road through the steering wheel. It represents a time when the connection between driver and car was absolute, with nothing in between to dilute the experience. It's a pure, analog hero in an increasingly digital world. Ultimately, the Porsche 550 is adored because it is honest. It was built for a single purpose: to go fast and win races. It has no pretensions. It is a perfect expression of the form follows function philosophy. It's a beautiful object, yes, but its beauty comes from its engineering purity. It's a car that rewards skill and demands respect. It's the plucky underdog that became a champion, the genesis of a performance dynasty and a cultural icon. It's a small car that casts a very, very long shadow. And for any true car enthusiast, it remains one of the most desirable and significant machines ever created, an absolute legend.